back to Barbecue in the Burbs. Today we're going to be making some chicken on the griddle. First thing you're going to want to do is lay your chicken out on a piece of parchment paper. The wife actually had pre-prepared some honey mustard chicken. She had marinated the chicken overnight in the fridge, but I wanted to use some of this Chicka Bam Bam rub that you see me putting on here. I had gotten this from Walmart. It was about $6 for a bottle, and it is really, really good. So I just put the dry rub on the chicken about an hour before we cooked, and just coated it on both sides. Don't waste any of it. And then I threw it back in the fridge. Keep those hands clean. That's why I use the parchment paper. Anyways, throwing it back in the fridge here. Make eyes with the condiments. And here's that dry rub I was talking about. The Chicka Bam Bam. Anyways, the reason this video has this title of Griddle Failure is because when I was cooking, actually when I put this chicken on the griddle here, I was only at about 325 degrees Fahrenheit. I had already run the grill for about 15 minutes and was really having trouble getting up the temperature. And I couldn't really figure out why. I kept looking at the burners, adjusting things, even turned the grill off and readjusted connections with the LP tank. But I just wasn't able to get it to go above 325 degrees. So it was pretty disappointing. I was a little worried that maybe I had a part that was not manufactured correctly or needed to be returned. There I am putting the honey mustard chicken and the Chicka Bam Bam dry rub chicken on the griddle. And I'll be constantly checking the temperature throughout this video. Like I said, it was pretty frustrating only being able to cook at about between 250 and 350 degrees. Obviously, once you put the food on, the grill cools down. So eventually what I did was I moved all the chicken over onto one burner and just to utilize as much gas as I could in one spot. It seemed like the flame got quite a bit bigger on the burners if I only used one. So I kept adjusting it, trying to figure it out. It's always hard to do this when you're actually cooking. You just have to stay flexible. And of course, kids were getting wily inside, and here I was 20 minutes later. I said it was going to be 10 minutes. 20 minutes later, it's not ready. So the boss had to come out, make sure things were moving along, which they were not, but that's all right. We made it work. The chicken was delicious in the end, and super moist, super tender. That's one thing I love about the griddle, is that all the juices stay up on the surface, and you can kind of use the juices of the food itself to cook in it, and you don't have to use a ton of oil, which is nice. So unfortunately, I ran out of storage, but here's a picture of the final product.
After running through the manual, there was a recommendation about the regulator, and I think it might have been step 3. But basically, sometimes the regulator will trip. So that's this thing right here. if you turn the gas on too fast. I turned it wide open and then turned the knob and fired it up, and it must have tripped, and so I was only able to get up to about 315 total during that cook. But I'm looking at the flames now and there's a massive visual difference. So I'll just have to be careful when I'm starting this up to turn that real slow. I think it's just real sensitive. I think it's just a safety feature, but just something to be aware of. Something I learned as a beginner. So hopefully that helps somebody out on the interwebs.